Tonight on Newswatch, the voter registration deadline for the May primary is just hours away.
Plus, President Trump extends the deadline for Iran to reopen the Straits of Hormuz.
And in sports, Ohio softball takes home a series win against Ball State. Newswatch starts right now. Early voting begins tomorrow across the state of Ohio. Good evening, I'm Joshua Herner.
And I'm Serenity Prophet. Welcome to Newswatch. 9 p.m. tonight is the deadline to register to vote in the Ohio primary election for May 5th.
Those who wish to cast their ballots early can do so beginning tomorrow. Ohioans can check their status and register to vote online through the Ohio Secretary of State's website, voteohio.gov, or in person at their county boards of elections offices before the end of business today. Executive Director of Athens County Job and Family Services, Gene Demoski, was indicted on 8 different charges, including 3 counts of theft in office and 2 counts of intimidation. Demoski is accused of creating a phony nonprofit using county resources and funding to provide goods to ineligible recipients, including a member of her own family. According to Athens City Prosecutor Keller Blackburn, the outstanding bill from the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services is over $50,000. The ongoing conflict with Iran is having major impacts on the price of gas and jet fuel. Farmers across the country, however, are concerned about the price and access to normal fertilizer. About 20% of the fertilizer commonly used in Ohio comes from the Middle East. The conflict with Iran has caused exports from the region to plummet, affecting global prices. With demand being so high and supply so low, some retailers do not have a price for fertilizer. While talks to reopen the Strait of Hormuz continue in an attempt to lower the price of natural gas, there is no word about access to fertilizer.
To stay up to date on all the latest news from Southeast Ohio, head over to our website, woub.org, and on social media, be sure to follow WB Newswatch on Facebook, Instagram, and X.
Now for a look at the weather, we'll send it over to forecaster Isabel Isco.
Thanks, Josh. You'll see that outside today it was a lot cooler than it was over the weekend, and those are going to happen all over the United States. We're kind of in that more seasonable weather right now. We'll get that warm up once again. We're going to be seeing in Southeast Ohio right now, Athens 60, Lancaster 58. As we head more south, 65, still feeling a little bit more spring-like out there. It will be cooling down as we head into the night. We're going to see 15-mile-per-hour winds. Those are going to continue, and we're going to be getting pretty chilly tonight. Overnight low of 32, that freezing mark that is going to put us at that frost warning for much of Ohio. We're in that freeze warning. So if you did bring out any of those plants earlier in the year, we saw those warmer temperatures. If you brought out any plants onto your porch, you're going to want to bring them inside. It will be getting to below freezing as we head into Athens and as we head into tomorrow morning. We're going to be seeing that overnight low 32, and in the morning be pretty chilly with that low of 28 for tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies. And as I head over, we're going to be seeing those temperatures start to increase once again. We're going to get mostly sunny skies as we head into the later half of the week. We're going to get some more rain, though, as we head into the weekend. I'll get into all of that in my full forecast. Let's take it back over to Josh.
Thank you, Isabel. As the week gets started, gasoline prices in Ohio continue to fall, but are still $1 above where they sat at the beginning of the war with Iran. The average price for a gallon of regular gasoline is down 11 cents from last Monday at $3.75 per gallon. Diesel is 15 cents higher than last Monday at $5.21 per gallon. A gallon of diesel in the Buckeye State, which is averaging around $4.30 on March 1st.
U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a new deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has since fired back, saying it will only reopen the strait when financial damages from the war are fully compensated. Matthew Chance reports from Qatar.
Well, tonight there are growing concerns in this region because Iran has again vowed to step up its retaliation against its Gulf Arab neighbours if President Trump eventually carries out his threat to strike Iranian civilian infrastructure. One Iranian official warning the region will, quote, burn. President Trump now appears to have extended his self-imposed deadline for Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz, but there's no sign of any negotiations between Washington and Tehran or any public word of compromise by either side. In fact, Iran has suggested it will only reopen the strait which had effectively closed to most shipping at the start of the war, wants war reparations are paid, doubling down on its defiant rhetoric. There have been other talks underway, including between Iran and the Gulf Arab state of Oman, aimed at striking a deal to open up the strait, through which some 20%, of course, of the world's oil and gas is normally shipped. An Omani source tells CNN their discussions have been underway for 2 weeks and are focused on tankers agreeing to register with Iran before being allowed to pass. But that would effectively formalize Iranian control of the global energy supply route, something the US and many other countries in the region do not want to see. Problem is, the only alternative at the moment seems to be escalation. More risks to the region, more risks potentially to US military personnel, and more risks for the global economy.
The missing U.S. crew member whose fighter jet was shot down over Iran has been rescued. President Donald Trump took to social media to report that the colonel is now, quote, safe and sound, after the U.S. military carried out what Trump called one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history. Trump spoke with the press about the hardship that the pilot faced after being shot down in Iran.
He was injured quite badly and stranded in an area teeming with terrorists from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps rough group, as well as besieged militia and local authorities. Many, on top of everything else, they told the communities actually within side of Iran, the people of Iran, they were given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location.
Coming up, NASA's Artemis II makes history, taking humans the furthest away from Earth ever. What this means for the future of space exploration.
And today's show host Savannah Guthrie makes her television return nearly 2 months after the disappearance of her mother.
And we saw those cooler temperatures today. Those are going to continue, but we do see a warmer weekend next on Newswatch.
There's much about me that you don't know. It's quite the adventure. Shall we?
Uncool the midwife.
Hello, Pam.
Oh my God, that's Kenny. Oh, I really don't want him in it. Are you asking me to go away with you for the weekend?
Yes.
Where's my baby? Mrs. Shields!
We'll find him. We've got officers searching the area already. Chemotherapy is one of the toughest things you can put a 2-year-old through.
He doesn't have time.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
You'll find there's never a dull moment in this house.
Welcome to Downton.
This house has no secrets.
Downton is catching up with the times we live in.
This calls for a toast.
It makes you want to jig about, though, doesn't it?
Heavens, we are quite a party.
Oh, goody goody.
Downton Abbey. Stream all seasons with Passport on the PBS app.
CasualWorks was not designed, created, or maintained by people who studied disability. They're people who studied opportunity. If a person has very limited movement and can make little teeny circles, there's a place for you. The idea of workers contorting themselves to a job is one business model. Our business model is that the job responds to the worker.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
The Artemis II mission astronauts are making their way around the far side of the moon, getting a glimpse of lunar surface features.
The crew will also set a record for the furthest distance any human has been from Earth. Michael Yoshida has more.
Hello, Artemis II. This is Apollo astronaut Jim Lovell. Welcome to my old neighborhood.
On day 6 of their mission, the crew of Artemis II waking up to a recording from recently deceased Apollo 13 astronaut Jim Lovell.
I'm proud to pass that torch on to you as you swing around the moon and lay the groundwork for missions to Mars.
Their lunar flyby breaking his record, traveling farther from Earth than any human, and setting eyes on parts of the moon no human has before.
We most importantly choose this moment to challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
At their closest, an estimated distance of 4,070 miles from the moon, the crew will be surveying the moon's far side, which always faces away from Earth. The astronauts received extensive training from experts in how to scientifically observe the moon and its unique features.
They'll be taking pictures, making observations, pretty much the whole day event.
Views that can reveal more about its history, also noting details on soil composition, terrain, and other insights that will be vital to future missions.
At some point, we got to go back to the surface, and we're doing a bit of a recon right now, in addition to testing the spacecraft.
In all, the astronauts have roughly 7 hours to look, take notes, and photos during the flyby.
We're going to learn an awful lot about the spacecraft, which is pretty paramount to set up for subsequent missions like Artemis 3 in 2027, and of course, the lunar landing itself on Artemis 4 in 2028.
In Washington, Michael Yoshida.
Guys, I feel like we've talked about Artemis landing for a while now, but how cool was it to finally see all the photos they got from their mission?
Some of them are truly breathtaking, especially the more recent ones like they showed of the moon. It's just honestly incredible out there.
No, I literally cannot believe that's what I'm seeing, so it's amazing.
Yeah, it was so hyped up, and it looks like their mission finally delivered. You know
definitely.
what I mean?
And I'm going to talk about a little bit of the weather here in Southeast Ohio when we're not on the moon. We're going to be seeing Athens currently. It is going to be feeling a little bit kind of chillier out there. Currently 60. Those temperatures are going to continue to cool down, especially as we head into tonight. That overnight low 32, right at that freezing line. We are under that freeze warning for Southeast Ohio and much of Ohio. So if you did bring out any of those indoor-outdoor plants onto your porch, you're going to want to bring them inside because overnight we could see those temperatures get well below freezing as well. Tomorrow morning, we're expected to see our temperatures even dip lower than that freezing, get into those mid-20s. We're going to see all throughout the United States kind of how this cold front is pushing through, going to cool our temperatures down. Once again, continue to get colder as we head into tomorrow. But then we do have a little bit of this high pressure that's going to be moving in, warming our temperatures once again, but it's not going to be as drastic as it was over the weekend. We're going to have a little bit of that slow climb back up into those normal temperatures as we zoom on in our region. Again, that cold front cooling our temperatures down as we head into, especially tomorrow morning. 24 hours ahead, that high pressure. It will be a clear day out there, a little bit chilly, but you will be able to see that sun out there. We're going to have the temperature high still in those 50s, right at 50 for our temperature high. But like I said, mostly sunny skies. You will be able to enjoy outside without some rain. Temperature low for the morning commute, 28. So you're definitely going to need to layer up, and you're going to have to keep those layers sticking around. As we see 36 hours ahead, a little bit of low pressure system moving its way in. It won't be impacting us too much until we head later into the weekend, continuing with that high pressure clearer skies, especially 48 hours ahead. Still going to be keeping it pretty cool out there. Then we're going to be seeing, as we see we're going to be seeing in our 7-day outlook, just our temperatures, how they're going to slowly increase. So like I said, tomorrow, 50. Wednesday, 66, and as we head into the weekend, we could be getting into those 80s, 86 for our temperature high for Sunday, and then Monday, I'll be moving out of the way here now. You'll see just how much those temperatures will increase, but we're going to have to wait through it. Mostly sunny skies, but kind of that seasonal around what we're used to here in Southeast Ohio, those cooler mornings, a little bit of warmer nights as we head into the night, and then as we head into our weekend, that chance of storms does start to increase. Friday, you'll see that 30% chance of showers. That will come with a little bit of warm, humid air as well. That's going to increase our chance for thunderstorms as you head into Saturday. Here in Ohio University, we do have that mom's weekend, so if you are heading out with your mom, you might want to bring an umbrella with you for what it's looking like right now. But our temperatures, they're going to be much warmer, and you'll see in those temperature lows as well, they're still going to be on that warmer side, going to only dip into those 50s instead of like tonight where we're going to be in those freezing temperatures. And then once we get past these next few days, you'll see that this time next week, we're going to be overcast, going to see that sun again and kind of feel like summer. So those temperatures back into those high 80s and low 80s as we head this time next week. Just have to really make through these next few days. Couple sprinkles here and there, and you're going to have to stick back with us here at WOUB just to see how much that'll impact your weekend later in the week.
Thank you, Isabel. One of the country's best-known weather graphics is getting a makeover. It's the Cone of Uncertainty from the National Hurricane Center. NOAA says the new version still has a cone to show a storm's predicted path, but it also highlights land-based hurricane watches and warnings. NOAA says that's to emphasize broader wind risks. NHC also has a new map for possible storm surge flooding in Hawaii.
Today's show host Savannah Guthrie made her television return nearly 2 months after the disappearance of her mother, Nancy Guthrie. Upon her arrival, Guthrie was greeted by hordes of fans showing their support. On air, Guthrie expressed her gratitude for the support, thanking fans for all their kind words and prayers. Despite an extensive search and FBI involvement, Savannah's mother, Nancy, is still missing after being taken from her home in Tucson, Arizona over 2 months ago on February 1st.
Most states are extending the window for RSV immunizations. Shots for infants and toddlers will now be available through the end of April as the virus continues to linger later than usual. RSV typically follows a fall to spring pattern, with immunizations recommended through the end of March, but this season has shifted. Federal data shows positivity rates are significantly higher than this time last year. The extension means providers can keep offering protection for a longer period. Experts say that's critical as RSV remains the leading cause of infant hospitalization. And while it's unclear why the virus is sticking around, doctors say continued access to immunization could make a real difference.
Heart disease remains the #1 killer of Americans, but in many cases it can be prevented. And several well-known medical organizations have put out new guidelines on how to care for patients at risk of cardiovascular disease. Mandy Gaither has more.
For the first time since 2018, the guidelines on how doctors can help heart patients have been updated. The American Heart Association, the American College of Cardiology, and 9 other medical organizations have some new recommendations for those who have something called dyslipidemia. It's an unhealthy balance of lipids or fats in the bloodstream and a huge risk factor for cardiovascular diseases.
There's been a lot of new updates in terms of how we treat high cholesterol, new medications, new tests that we can run also. So this is kind of a much needed update.
Dr. Jim Liu with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says the overall frame of the guidelines is still the same. What's different is determining who's likely to develop heart disease or have a cardiac event before either of those things can happen, using a new tool called a prevent calculator.
It's a much more modern risk calculator that incorporates, more modern things. And it's also a more it looks like a much bigger population.
For those who fall in the new patient category of very high risk, the guidelines suggest early intervention through healthy lifestyle changes, including maintaining a healthy weight, exercising regularly, not smoking, prioritizing quality sleep, and taking cholesterol-lowering medication when recommended by a doctor. The guidelines also lower the level of cholesterol that should be targeted.
The earlier you treat, to lower targets and for longer is overall better for heart health.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Next in sports, Ohio softball rallies to take a tough series against Ball State, prepares for a showdown with a familiar foe.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow from Charlevoix, Michigan. Roadshow is attracting treasures from all around the world.
She would give me pieces, and this is one of my treasures.
Wow. I could throw a heck of a watch party with that.
I think it could have easily been in a commission for the imperial household.
And then my favorite, how it just pops open like an Omar, yeah. Yes.
Watch Antiques Roadshow, Castle Farms, Hour 2.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
The American Revolution is usually described as a heroic struggle taking place on American soil. But that's only half the story. There's an untold version, the British perspective. I'm reinvestigating one of the most explosive breakups in history. I'm going to re-examine the original evidence and ask if things could have been different.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Can you feel the moment?
The American Revolution changed the world.
Where the story unfolds.
Everybody had the sense of possibility worth fighting for.
What took place here still leaves us in awe.
We can work towards equality together.
Wow, this is the missing piece. Incredible.
To confront these figures from ancient history is a great privilege.
Our history tells us who we are, where we came from.
And it's all connected.
Like the links in a chain.
Like links in a chain.
Yeah.
All I can do is say thank you.
Wow, this is phenomenal.
I'm really grateful for this.
Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to sports. I'm Charlie Lusk. After splitting their first two matches on Friday, softball grabbed a big win on Saturday against conference opponent Ball State to grab their third straight series win. The Cardinals got off to a hot start, growing their lead to 4-0 in the bottom of the fourth, but the Bobcats flipped this game on its head at the top of the fifth when Brenda Farmer RBI walk set off a 6-run inning, including a 3-run shot from Sydney Young, taking the lead. The stat telling the story of the game the best is runners left on base. Ball State had 13, including 3 in a scoreless 6th inning. Despite the high scoring, it was an impressive feat from Ohio pitching and defense to get out of jams and reduce rallies from Ball State. The win brings them to 3rd in the MAC, and they will be playing the second team in the MAC, their rivals Miami. The reigning champs of the last 4 MAC tournaments, this is the first time the Bobcats met the Red Hawks since last year's heartbreak, where Miami came back to win the 3-game series in the final of the MAC tournament. Revenge will be on the Bobcats' minds during another battle of the bricks. Baseball also had a big conference weekend, but it did not go the same way. Hosting 5th in the conference Kent State, their defensive struggles continued as the Golden Flashes completed the sweep. Offensive explosions from Kent State doomed Ohio in all 3 games, but on Friday and Saturday especially, a 5-run 5th inning in Game 2, as well as an additional 7 runs given up in the 9th and the Game 3, that put those games out of reach for the Bobcats. This combined with quiet nights from the bats, with only 10 hits combined over the last 2 games, still a disaster for the Bobcats. Dropping through the last 2 games by a combined score of 31-3 makes this 6th or the last 7th that baseball has dropped. Ohio will look to bounce back again against Morehead State tomorrow. Well, with summer warm weather starting to peak out, you might think it's a good time to hit the golf course. Well, the Golf Week Stifle Spring Challenge thought the same thing, inviting both Bobcat teams. The 3-day tournament in Pawleys Island, South Carolina, saw both the men's and women's teams invited to the tournament. The men, led by Rylan Hall, is at a +13, tied for 13th place at a 16th, led by Morgan Rogers with a team best +1. The women's are now sitting tallied, but sit at 16th out of 20 teams, sitting at a +26. Well, the weekend was also one of the biggest for women's track at OU. The Cherry Blossom Invitational in Athens last Friday saw several big performances from some Bobcats. In the first meet that the Bobcats held at Goldsberry Track, Ohio made most of the opportunity with multiple first-place finishes and personal bests. Freshman Kiwogo Bennett grabbed the long jump and triple jumps events especially, grabbing PRs in both events. Junior pole vaulter Emily Ballman broke her own record with a 3.76-meter jump. The 4x100 meter also went nuclear, comprised of Liva Mentlow, Sydney Huckstep, Ashley Long, and Arissa Leo, took a commanding win of 46.21 seconds, the 3rd fastest in school history. Well, that is all the time that we have for you today. Make sure you follow Bobcat Showcase on Facebook, X, and Instagram for all things Bobcat athletics. Back to you on the desk.
Thank you, Charlie. Still ahead, find out more about a national convenience store opening for the first time in the Buckeye State. Newswatch will return in 2 minutes, but for now, here's a look at what's coming up next on WOUB.
In the next episode, you'll discover the transformation of mountains through the adventure of shepherds in the French Alps. In Japan, a whole new ecosystem is emerging. And many of the planet's living species are on the move, slowly changing the face of the Earth.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Isn't that amazing, that noise?
Life on Earth. This is an almost sacred place.
Bukele has agreed to accept U.S. detainees at El Salvador's mega prison.
The deal between El Salvador's leader and the American president.
I want to thank you for the great job you're doing. I appreciate it.
In collaboration with El Faro, uncovering the connections between the Trump administration, President Nayib Bukele, and El Salvador's gangs.
Bukele nos ha vuelto a recordar que si vos sos popular, podés hacer lo que te dé la gana.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
So, Dad, who in our family had short arms and legs?
Yeah, Lila was like that. Then there's my mother.
Do you think there have been dwarfs in the past?
Not that I'm aware of, but we have a tendency in that direction.
People like us get described as disproportionate, even though we have lovely proportions.
What does it mean to liberate your body?
I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
A national chain has opened up its first location in the Buckeye State. Known gas station and convenience store Buc-ee's just opened up their door in Huber Heights, Ohio, right outside of Dayton. Dozens lined up last night to be among the first to visit the store. The closest Buc-ee's to Athens previously was in Richmond, Kentucky, a 3.5-hour drive. Now, if you want to head to the convenience store, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes away. Buc-ee's is known for its brisket sandwiches, beaver nuggets, and breakfast food items. Now, guys, I have to say, I've had it before. It's very good. Like, it is worth the hype. Like, I know it's hyped up, but it is worth the hype. The food's excellent. I mean, I don't know about the gas, but, I mean, the food was very good.
I would say it is pretty good. I do love beaver nuggets. They are pretty good. I've only gone once, but now that it is closer, it's kind of on the other side of me. But it is still, I got to go see it.
Anytime, like, I'm in the area, like, I got to make the trip. You know what I mean? If I'm ever in Dayton, I'm not in Dayton often, but if I am in Dayton, that's where I'll go. So, Isabel, if you want to make a trip out to Buc-ee's, what's the weather going to look like this week?
Well, in southeast Ohio, we're going to be seeing currently out there 60, mostly clear skies. Tonight we will be getting into that overnight low of 32, and as we head into tomorrow morning, it will be getting even chillier. We are under that freeze warning. Tomorrow, your morning commute, you will need to put that jacket on. It will be a pretty frigid cold, 28 in the morning, and as we head throughout the rest of the day, we'll only get to that high of about 50. Mostly sunny skies though, so you will be able to enjoy being outside. And then as we look at the next 7 days, we're going to be seeing that slight warm up all throughout the week. That chance of rain does start to creep in for that weekend, but back into the 80s by this time next week.
All right, Isabel, so it looks like we're going to have to bring out the jackets earlier in the morning, but later on in the day, maybe they could come off 50s.
Still will need a little bit of a sweatshirt out there,
all
maybe
right.
a sweater, but
all right,
later in the week, yeah, you'll be able to take that.
All right, well, I like to hear that, so we'll keep it on for tomorrow, but maybe for the rest of the week. You know, we'll finally get to take some jacket off and enjoy some of the warmer weather. So that's going to do it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks, as always, for watching.
Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next.